On the night of January 29th, the city of Kstovo in the Nizhny Novgorod region of Russia was attacked by drones. Local Telegram channels reported this. Ukrainian-owned kamikaze drone struck an oil base belonging to the Lukoil company in the city. As a result, an explosion and a fire occurred. There were no reports of casualties. Local authorities said that the air defense system was activated and shot down the drones, and the debris fell on the territory of the plant, causing a fire. With its powerful camera, the French Navy surveillance plane scouring the Baltic Sea zoomed in on a cargo ship plowing the waters below closer and closer still until the camera operator could make out details on the vessel's front deck and smoke pouring from its chimney. According to Associated Press, the long-range Atlantique II aircraft on a new mission for NATO then shifted its high-tech gaze onto another target, and another after that until, after more than 5 hours on patrol, the plane's array of sensors had scoped out the bulk of the Baltic from Germany in the west to Estonia in the northeast, bordering Russia. The flight's mere presence in the skies above the strategic sea last week, combined with military ships patrolling on the waters, also sent an unmistakable message: the NATO alliance is ratcheting up its guard against suspected attempts to sabotage underwater energy and data cables and pipelines that crisscross the Baltic, prompted by a growing catalogue of incidents that have damaged them. We will do everything in our power to make sure that we fight back, that we are able to see what is happening and then take the next steps to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And our adversaries should know this, NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte said this month in announcing a new alliance mission, dubbed Baltic Sentry, to protect the underwater infrastructure vital to the economic well-being of Baltic region nations. The European Subsea Cables Association, representing cable owners and operators, noted in November after faults were reported on 2 Baltic links that, on average, a subsea cable is damaged somewhere in the world every 3 days. In northern European waters, the main causes of damage are commercial fishing or ship anchors, it said. The alliance is deploying warships, maritime patrol aircraft and naval drones for the mission to provide enhanced surveillance and deterrence. According to Associated Press, NATO's Secretary-General, Mark Rutte, on Monday warned Russia was trying to destabilize countries in the alliance as he called on members to increase defense spending to counter Moscow. To guarantee our security in the future, we also need to ramp up our efforts now, Rutte said in a joint briefing alongside Portuguese Prime Minister, Luís Montenegro, as he visited Lisbon on Monday. We also know that the goal of 2%, now set a decade ago, will not be enough to meet the challenges of tomorrow. The threat from Russia may seem distant, but let me assure you it is not, he added as he also warned Portugal about Russian threats to its territory. Russian ships and long-range bombers menace the Portuguese coast. Portugal's fragile undersea infrastructure is squarely in Russia's sights, Rutte said. Rutte also addressed recent cable ruptures in the Baltic Sea. Just yesterday we saw another incident in the Baltic Sea with disruption to a cable connecting Latvia and Sweden. The good news is through Mission Baltic Sentry, NATO's ships and aircraft are operating alongside our allies over there, enabling a fast, coordinated response. Sunday's rupture follows a string of incidents that have heightened fears of Russian sabotage and spying in the strategic region. Earlier this month, NATO began a new mission dubbed Baltic Sentry, which included frigates, maritime patrol aircraft and a fleet of naval drones to provide enhanced surveillance and deterrence in the Baltic Sea, which the Transatlantic Alliance says is to protect undersea cables and pipelines.
Olha, querem melhor que isso? Só no contínuo? Já aconteceu aqui, de certeza absoluta.
Sim, Baku acabou agora mesmo de chegar. Vai dar bocadinho
Queria, em primeiro lugar, dirigir uma palavra de saudação.
Today we discussed the security situation in Europe. Russia is trying to destabilize our countries and is challenging the resilience of our societies, with acts ranging from assassination attempts to cyber attacks to sabotage. And Russia continues to wage a brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. NATO supports Ukraine, and it is vital that we continue to do so. Just yesterday, we saw another incident in the Baltic Sea, with disruption to a cable connecting Latvia and Sweden. The good news is, through Mission Baltic Sentry, NATO ships and aircraft are operating alongside our allies over there, enabling a fast, coordinated response. NATO is strong today. And to guarantee our security in the future, we also need to ramp up our efforts now. That also means we need to spend more on our defense. And I welcome the recent increases in Portugal's defense spending. But we also know that the goal of 2%, now set a decade ago, will not be enough to meet the challenges of tomorrow. The threat from Russia may seem distant, but let me assure you, it is not. Russian ships and long-range bombers menace the Portuguese coast. Portugal's vital undersea infrastructure is squarely in Russia's sights.
De euros, que equivale a mais do dobro do que aquele que era o objetivo com que iniciámos o ano e com que chegámos a meados do ano. O governo português vai caminhar para reforçar o seu investimento em defesa sem colocar minimamente em causa o seu equilíbrio financeiro, contas públicas saudáveis, um país estável, um país seguro, um país atrativo para colocar a economia a crescer. Porque se nós não conseguirmos colocar a economia a crescer, não temos meios para investir na defesa como noutras políticas públicas.
Mesmo aqui,